Okay, so we have an urgent information coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Map shows where the US president has sent US forces to Venezuela's doorstep. Now, let me show you this map really quick here. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you again for your support. Alright, so this is my second video when it comes to Venezuela and the US. US Navy unit surged to Caribbean. Wow. So you have one, well, you have two near Panama Canal. You have one near Venezuela. You got three of them, excuse me. Then you have the P-8 Poseidon A. We talked about that in Puerto Rico. And then we have another two warship near the Dominican Republic. And then the nuclear submarine is way up there. I mean, we talking about way up there. Give me a second here. Let me see if I could bring SpongeBob really quick. All right, so we have the ships, submarine, and a plane. The P-8 Poseidon. The P-8 Poseidon is right here. Here's the ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you have the nuclear sub way up there. Venezuela is down here. That's Caracas. Alright, so we are definitely seeing the Panama Canal. We have two warship here. And Dominican Republic, two warship, the P-8 Poseidon in Puerto Rico. 3 warship near Caracas, and a nuclear attack submarine way up there. Alright, thank you, SpongeBob. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on with all this news here, guys. Give me a second. Let me just pull up this one here. This is the one that I just posted a video not too long ago. The link will be in the comments box if you guys want to check it out. So the president of Venezuela fires warning at the U.S. Commander-in-Chief as U.S. forces approach Venezuela. Now, we're not going to focus on this one here. We're going to focus on the other one. But again, the link will be in the description box if you guys want to check this one out. Alright, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support truly helps out. Alright, so the U.S. military forces are making their presence known in international waters, increasing their presence in the Caribbean and Pacific Seas, as the U.S. Commander-in-Chief administration vows to deter the gangs, according to reports. The escalation has irked Venezuelan leader who warned on Thursday that his land could not be invaded. Now, it says here, U.S. deployment of multiple warships, including a nuclear-powered submarine and 4,500 troops, is part of the U.S. Commander-in-Chief intensified gang operations, with the projection of military force around Latin America, putting countries like Venezuela on guard as part of their most serious confrontation with the U.S. in recent years. Wow. Things are looking pretty tough nowadays. Give me a second. Look at this picture. So the U.S. Navy warship, the USS Lake Erie, docks at the port of Balboa in Panama City on August 28, 2025. I just mentioned about the Panama Canal. Nicholas has stated that the sleeping giant aggression in the region only strengthened the resolve of his people, along with the power of his gov. Mounting political and economic pressures in Venezuela, coupled with increased U.S. military involvement, begs larger question of regional viability as diplomacy with nations like Colombia. The situation also puts the UN in a spotlight to mediate and deter, if necessary, any major conflicts in the hemisphere. All right. So once again, these are very important updates here, guys. Like I said, I do believe things are going to hit the fan possibly around September, possibly mid-September. What to know? 8 U.S. warships are now involved as part of a broader enhanced counter-narcotics operation to carry out the gang's interdiction missions in Latin America, a defense official told the Washington Post. Now, they reportedly include 3 destroyers, 2 landing dock ships, an amphibious assault ship, a cruiser, and a littoral combat ship are either in the region or on their way. The destroyers are each carrying detachments of U.S. Coast Guard and law enforcement officials aboard who would carry out detentions on arrest in the operation interdictions. Now follow me with the code words here, guys. It says here, give me a second. There we go. The Navy officials will not say exactly where the ships will be operating, except that they are patrolling the Caribbean and awaiting more specific orders, adding that the destroyers are not right off the coast of Venezuela. Reuters previously reported on U.S. submarine and several P-8 maritime patrol aircraft, which are now visible at San Juan Airport in Puerto Rico, being deployed in the region. The following map approximates location based on Newsweek review of publicly available sources. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to nation against nation. Movement, yeah, look at this one here. Movement detected above North Korea rumored secret nuclear site. U.S. flexes stealth jet muscles at North Korea. We are definitely seeing nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom in 2025. Give me a second here, guys. Let me just zoom out just a little bit here. Wow. So if you look at it from a far distance, it seems like Colombia and Venezuela. But Mexico, you don't see much going on in Mexico. You don't see much going on in Mexico. At first, I thought, there were going to be warship here and warship around here. But we're not seeing that. We've seen Colombia and Venezuela. All right, you got all these ships here, and then you have 2 right here. And then you have the nuclear submarine way up there. They could fire tomahawks from that long distance. They could just fire these tomahawks in those regions. Wow. Now remember, guys, Colombia has history. History when it comes to, the drugs and stuff like that, Pablo Escobar and all that. So you have certain countries. You have Paraguay. This country here is urging their citizens in Venezuela to leave immediately, to leave now. All right, so Paraguay, and then you have Argentina are joining forces with the U.S. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get involved in this biblical war. They just, they basically, believe that Donald is doing the right thing here because these gangs are just all over the place. All right, so it says here, Nicholas, while speaking at a military ceremony in Caracas, that's the capital, portrayed the sleeping giant naval presence as a hostile siege that violates the UN Charter. He thanked Colombian leader. It seems like Colombia is joining forces, with Nicholas. He thanked Colombia leader Gustavo for deploying 25,000 troops to support the security along their shared border, framing the move as a part effort to protect Venezuela and the wider border region. Now, the Civil Defense Unit would continue training weekly and vowed that no foreign power could touch Venezuela's sacred land. Nicholas added, referencing the U.S. bounty on his head that Washington recently doubled to $50 million for his capture. Jennifer, a political science professor at Georgia State University, told Newsweek via email that the U.S. has been trying various ways since at least 2015 to pressure Venezuela leader Nicholas to leave office. Now, this, however, is a new means of pressure that has not been tried before, she added. She said. Man. September is going to be a big month. I mean, a big month. The blood moon, the UN announcement, possibly some kind of changes to the world when it comes to a lot of things. They're talking about water. They're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. It's like almost 2030 stuff. And then you got Benjamin is preparing for a takeover of the strip, the GAZA strip in September. And then you got possibly this war is going to hit the fan. Chicago is going to see a whole bunch of law enforcement September 5th. On top of that, September 5th is going to be me and my wife anniversary. We've been together for like 14 years. All right, so there's going to be a lot of stuff that is going to happen in September. So it says here also, you can't forget September 11th. I mean, man. All right, so it says here, while it may be useful to interdict the product flows, I can't access this. It is more of a show of force than an actual warning of invasion of Venezuela, McCoy said. That would take a much larger force. Likewise, Nicholas responds to call up a presumably fictitious 4.5 million militia and a rhetorical show of force aimed at reassuring his population that he will repel any invasion. She said one possible impact on Venezuela internal politics could be that if the operation succeeds in interrupting drug flows from Venezuela to the sleeping giant or Europe, it could remove one lucrative source of income for Nicholas' allies and potentially weaken his support. Now it says here the risk will be if Venezuela decides to try to respond in the water in some way, leading to a physical clash that could be read by one leader or the other deciding it's merited a response and thus an escalation, she said. I can't access the size of that risk, though. So it says here, Venezuela leader Nicholas said, there's no way, absolutely there's no way they can enter Venezuela. Today we are stronger than yesterday. Today we are more prepared to defend peace, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. U.S. Attorney General Pam said Department of Justice and State Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for info leading to the cuff of Nicholas. Venezuela permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Samuel, said it's a massive operation to justify what the expert call kinetic action, meaning military intervention in a country which is a sovereign and independent country and is no threat to anyone. The White House press secretary said many Caribbean nations and many nations in the region have applauded the administration counter of the gang operation and efforts. Wow. So what happens next? Well, the standoff is expected to continue as U.S. forces maintain their presence while Maduro strengthened Venezuela defenses. The diplomatic engagement through the UN in coordination with regional allies, particularly Colombia, may influence the next phase. Colombia may step in. This is huge, guys. This is big, and at the same time, this is what they're doing out there. Give me a second here. I want to show you the picture. They're moving tanks. They are moving tanks. You see that? We did talk about that over at Grand Supreme News. They're moving tanks. All right, so let me just pull up this information here. Trucks transport tanks east of Valencia, Venezuela, Wednesday, August 27, 2025, after the Gov announced a military mobilization following the Sleeping Giant deployment of warship off Venezuela. They're moving tanks. Not only that, look at this here. See that? You see the one to the right? That GUN? They're training the citizens. Now, just looking at these people, these are the people that I see in the bodegas. All right, I go to like Spanish bodega, you hear bachata music, or you hear reggaeton music, or you hear salsa music, or merengue music. I mean, these are the people that you see in there shopping and buying Goya and sazon and empanadas and coffee and man, now I'm hungry. All right, but again, these poor people. I mean, they just telling them, hey, this is a GUN. This is what you're gonna be carrying. All right, we need to do this to protect our homeland. Mm-mm-mm. Their faces says it all. Priceless. They're like, oh man. So this dude Nicholas, but yeah, that's where we at right now, guys. Here's the thing. They have no chance. I'm sorry, but they have no chance. Nicholas is just gonna use them. Again, just like Crane leader Zelensky, using those to throw in the front line. They're not gonna last. They're not gonna last. Those front line, you don't last long. All right, so I pray that nothing happens, but it seems like they're getting ready to drop the hammer. And boy, oh boy, this is gonna be right in our backyard. Colombia, it seems like they're gonna step in. There's a possibility. The Bear, Russia, they might step in. They're gonna be sending some stuff, possibly send some stuff, and also you can't forget about the Red Dragon, China. They also could be getting involved in this one too. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Till next time later. Peace.